There are certain fishing lures that I consider essential to have in your tackle box when fishing for spring pike. And today I'm going to go through that list with you as I unpackage them and load up my tackle box. I'm also going to go through some baits that other people highly recommend for pike and some baits that I'm going to try this year. I've broken it down into 3 different categories here. We've got blades, we've got jerks, and we've got plastics and skirts. So let's start with the blades, the classic Williams wobbler. To be absolutely honest, I haven't caught many pike on this Williams wobbler, but I haven't really given it a huge try. But other people swear by this one. Another classic is the Mepps Cyclops. That one can also get some pike. A few years ago, I had a really fun day fishing for pike with the Mepps Cyclops. So I know spoons work. I've heard a ton about the Williams wobbler, so I had to give it a go this time. You may be wondering why I have all these baits in the plastic still and why I didn't just use what I have. Well, that's because my stuff got stolen. I accidentally left my car unlocked overnight last year at the end of the season, and I had a tackle bag in there with a whole bunch of baits, and yeah, it was lifted out of my car. So I'm kind of rebuilding my tackle box right now. Anyways, this is the start of my new pike fishing box. So I'm going to keep blades in the top, and I consider this like the most simplest of blades. And yeah, a spoon is a blade, right? Pretty much is. I consider it a blade. Anyways, so the next kind of bladed bait would be this bladed jig. You may know them as chatterbaits, but the generic term is bladed jig. The brand name, Z-Man, they make chatterbaits. I got these at CanCast this year. I was super stoked to restock my supply of fishing lures at CanCast because it's a wicked fishing show for shopping for baits and saving money and getting sweet deals, especially from local vendors, local bait makers. And I was really stoked for that, but then we had this crazy ice storm and it knocked out a lot of the power, and they still ran the show, but everything was pretty much cash only. And I only brought so much cash on me, but I got enough to get these and some other ones that we'll get to in a bit. But bladed jig, a chatterbait. These are really good for just a straight retrieve. So I picked this one up. It's from Weapons of Bass Destruction, Canadian company. It's just a guy and his partner making all of these, putting them all together right here in Ontario. So of course it's sweet to support local. I got 3 chatterbaits for $30, which is sweet. I mean bladed jigs. I got 3 bladed jigs for $30. These are really good on a straight retrieve and on a windy day with lots of waves and lots of commotion, because these put off a big vibration, lots of signal for the pike to key in on and follow. Because some days they love to follow. They just want to chase. I'll figure out the proper sorting of this after. I know some people, when you say blades to them, especially if they fish musky, they just immediately think inline spinners, but I don't know, I like to spread that definition because, I mean, they're all kind of blades, just different types of blades, right? So inline spinners, these are clutch. Just like the chatterbait or the bladed jig, you're gonna cast these out and just do a straight retrieve back to the boat. You're gonna feel resistance from the blades spinning in the water. These are highly effective in the spring. They fish kind of shallow, just like the bladed jig. Maybe I should have mentioned that. These are really good for fishing over top of weeds. If you've got like slightly submerged weeds, these are awesome fishing around drop-offs or big, huge flats. These ones here are pretty big. These are number 5s, Mepps, musky killers, and a giant killer. So these are pretty big. I'll use these for Lake Ontario. But when I get into the back lakes or I'm fishing slightly smaller lakes, I'll usually go for a number 4. So like a number 4 Mepps again, or number 4 Vibrax, Blue Fox Vibrax, I should say. These ones are a little bit different. They have like a kind of like a bell with a spinning thing in the middle, or the bell spins around it. I don't know, but it creates a different vibration. Maybe you could actually answer this for me if you already know something about this. What are these like stinger hooks for? Do you put like a piece of live bait on there? Is that the idea? If you know what they're for, I'd love to hear that in the comments below. Even if you don't know what it is, what do you think it is? What do you think it's for? So these are kind of like more of the same, but different. So these are the Panther Martin inline spinners, which I've never actually used for pike before. I've used these for trout, but I found a nice big size. These are size 15, a different brand, different size numbers, but it's pretty comparable to a number 5, I would say. But yeah, these are also dressed, lightly dressed. Decided I would try these out and see if these inline spinners work too. So this winter I actually ran away from winter and I went to Brazil, and I spent a couple months in Brazil with my girlfriend and her family.
Say something. I'm driving in Brazil.
While we were there, I did get to do a bit of fishing. If you want to check those videos out, they'll be linked in the description below. While I was there, I had to hit up some fishing shops, and so I've got some baits in and amongst here that are from Brazil. So pretty interesting. I don't know. I thought it was cool. So I got this one from Laser. I don't know if it's called a Laser. It's a specialized spinner. It's by Marine, which I've noticed there's a couple baits here by that same company, Marine. And yeah, interesting, it says 9 grams or a 1/3 ounce, because down in Brazil they use the metric system. But yeah, so I got this one. It's got that cool green fleck on it. This looks like a really nice bait. But anyways, moving on. The other blades, spinner baits. I mean, these are classic, typically thought of as a bass bait, but definitely a pike bait. I had a lot of fun fishing for pike with spinner baits before. These particular ones, these are also local. These are from Black Fly Lures. So they're made here in Ontario as well. And they're great. I think they're awesome spinner baits. I've caught a lot of pike on them in the past. They're pretty unique with these hatchet blades, they call them. And also at the top here, an important thing with spinner baits is when you're fishing for pike, you're usually using a leader, and you're usually using a leader with a clasp on the end. It's great to have this little bend in the top because this allows you to use a clasp on there. Some of the other spinner baits have a bit of an R bend, so it's completely open, and your clasp will slide up and down all around there unless you do some modifications. But there you have it, spinner baits. Highly recommend these. You can fish these right in the weeds. You can add trailers on the back of them, like this craw that I have. I mean, I know it's kind of silly to have a craw on there, but I have it sideways. It'll work. Sometimes you just need a bit of meat on the back of that. But yeah, I highly recommend spinner baits for pike. And yeah, Black Fly Lures, Canadian made. Check them out. Orange and black and chartreuse and white. I mean, these are very good classic pike colors and musky colors. They're part of the same species. They're like cousins or something. So their eyes are very much the same. They see oranges and yellows and reds a lot easier, or so it seems. I've never asked a pike myself, but scientists say that the cones within their eyes, within pike eyes, they've got more receptors for reds and chartreuse and oranges. So I like to use those colors. We're into the next section, the mean old section of jerk baits. So these first 3, I actually got these in Brazil. So these will be cool to check out. Some of these baits are in English, some of them are not. Yeah, so I'm not exactly sure where they're all made. Maybe they're available in the States too, some of these. Cylindric rattling action. Got this one because I really like the markings on it. And I was looking for a jerkbait, and this one said jerkbait in English. So I was like, I know what that says. Well, they say that this is versatile and deadly. You know, sometimes the pike want to chase, and sometimes they don't want to chase. Sometimes they're lazy and they're waiting and they're gonna ambush. So pulling these along like weed edges, close to drop-offs, highly recommend these. These are sweet. Some of them are floating. Sumax, JBC 100. It's gonna get hammered, jerk baits. I'm gonna keep the jerks in the bottom here. By the way, sweet tackle box, eh? Did you see this? Did you see this? Yeah, that's sick. I'm pretty happy with that. It looks better than it looked online. So I got this off Amazon. I'll have it linked below if you want. It will be an affiliate link, so we get a small kickback if you make a purchase after using it, but it doesn't cost you anything extra. It just helps us out. But yeah, this is a super sweet. Oh, look at that mess. Now I'm gonna have to. But anyways, I love that blue. That's gorgeous. Double layer satchel. Keep all my pike baits in one tackle box. It'll be sweet for on the fishing kayak. Easier for bait management. Nice clasps on there too. That's decent. Decent. I love that it's got a big open area there too, which is great for your spinner baits. That's pretty sick. All right, this next jerk bait is sweet. It's a Raptor Minnow 90, but this has a magnet system in there to give you a longer cast with these jerk baits. Sometimes these jerk baits, because they float or they sink, they're not usually very heavy because you don't want them to sink too fast. So sometimes when they're lighter lures can be harder to cast, at least to get the distance with lighter lures. This has a magnet, I guess. Wonder if I can shift the magnet. I don't know. It's got a rattle in there too, but yeah, that looks pretty sweet. This next bait, my girlfriend, Luena, she was talking with one of the store clerks. They said they had somebody from Germany come down and say bobeletas were really, really good baits, and he was stoked because apparently you can only get them in Brazil. So I'm interested to try these. Borboleta means butterfly in Portuguese. This is called the Lola. This is a beautiful jerkbait. Wow. And it was 80 reais, which converts to about 20 Canadian. So it wasn't a cheap jerkbait, but it's a beautiful one. But you know, it's almost got that like perchy kind of look, a little bit. It's got the stripes at least. White belly, nice natural look to that. There's a bit of a rattle in there. Seems like more of like one big rattle. Sick. That's beautiful though, like on the top, it's got that painted on there, a little butterfly with Lola. Beautiful, bonita, muito bonita. These ones all float, all of these jerkbaits. And sometimes later on in the season when the pike start to move further off the weeds, they start to go a little bit deeper as the water warms up. So sometimes you want to get down a little bit deeper and fish those deeper weed edges. So that's why I picked this up. Rapala Shadow Wrap Deep. This looks sweet. Swim depth 4 to 8 feet, so you know, it gets pretty deep in there. You can see it's got like a huge bill on there too. So last of the hard baits. So this kind of bait, I've never actually caught a pike on these, but I've heard people swear by them, like Big Jim McLaughlin. I've had a lot of pike follow on these baits, but these are lipless crankbaits. So these ones here specifically, these ones here are rapalas, the Ratlin Rap, but rattle baits, lipless crankbaits. These ones here sink, so you can fish them like a yo-yo, or you can do a straight retrieve, you can do a pull pause, or with these ones, these are suspending. This one here is a cotton cordell. This is a suspending one. You can do a straight retrieve with this, or you can do a pull pause, or you could even do a little bit of a twitch if you really wanted to with these. I've had some really nice follows on them. I know they can produce. Because they're so loud with the rattles, it's another great one to fish when it's really wavy and windy and there's a lot of commotion on the water. These will get the attention and you can fish them at many different depths. And then, so when I was in Brazil, this is another one by Marine. I saw this lipless crank and I love that it was just chrome. I mean, there was nothing special about it as far as it being from Brazil. It's called an Ironhead 70. Again, it's by Marine. Ooh, it sounds like a lot of smaller BBs than what the Rattling Wrap has. And there's some good weight there. I think that would get down deep fast. That is a beautiful bait though. Oh. Okay, second last category here. So we got plastics. Tube baits have recently taken the musky world by storm, so to speak. I don't know, couldn't think of any other way to say that. I know it sounds stupid, but you get the point. Pike will also eat tubes too. My buddy Chris actually figured that out fishing for pike in the St. Lawrence. He invited me out one time and we actually used these tubes and we were fishing right from shore, just hopping these on bottom. If you have just a plain round jig head, much like this, the round jig heads are actually going to cause this to spin even more than they already do. And it's going to create a whole bunch of line twist and not really give you the action you want. Having the weight kind of spread out allows them to do bigger circles as they go down. Tube jig heads with some tube baits, tube plastics, they can be money this time of year. They can get you down deep, they can get you close to those weeds, you can get right in the weeds. You've only got that single hook point coming out the top, so it's not as attracting to weeds. So you're not gonna get as many weeds on it with that single hook pointing at the top. These ones came in clutch a couple years ago fishing with Adam. We were trying everything. We were trying everything that I've already listed. We went through those and then eventually we realized it was just a paddle tail with a swim bait hook here. So something like this, either a hook point just coming right out the top, so they've got this paddle tail, it'll swing in the back, kick in the back like this. You can also get smaller ones like this one here from Limestone Lures. This is the rib kicker. And sometimes you need to downsize a little bit. And then the super classic, twister tails with a jig head. These, your grandpa's probably fishing with these still. And that's because they work. Twister tails, they're super classic for a reason. Sometimes they just want a little morsel, they just want a little snack. They're all fed up. Yeah, sometimes all you need is just a little tiny twister tail like that. Now this is not one that I personally have had a lot of success with, but average Ontario anglers swear by these. So I'm gonna be giving these a really good solid try. Good college effort this year. Swim jigs. I'm gonna give these a lot of time. You can use these again with a trailer, without a trailer. They have a weed guard with them. Again, weapons of bass destruction, supporting local. I'm stoked to give swim jigs a try. These are apparently also good for bass too. If you enjoyed this kind of tackle talk, let us know in the comments below and I can make more videos like this. Maybe I could talk about my musky lures next time or my bass setup. I still have to get some stuff to replace a lot of my bass gear that I lost. Got some baits in Brazil for that. Anyways, if you're interested in seeing those videos, let us know in the comments below and I will make those. Hope you enjoyed that. If you want to see Adam and I going fishing for pike, spring pike, check out this video here. If you want to see me hammering spring pike on a solo trip, check out this video here. We'll catch you later. We'll catch you later. We'll catch you later. Thanks for watching.